Well, this is Hero again. You know, I think we're into summer. Well, this year's been another crazy year. We've had no rain for months when it should have been raining. And then luckily, I think in March, or was it April, that we had sufficient rain to kind of catch up a little bit. I tried to keep this area well stocked. This is the first part that most people see when they come out of the office classroom. Oh, as we go on the tour, you'll see it needs weeding again. Well, this area needs weeding and pruning. I pruned this area a couple weeks ago and it's still growing back. I did some major thinning out of these boulevard cypresses, and it still looks nice and full. And here at the end is our famous drive-through bonsai. I think this is the last of half a dozen or so that I did. And this side needs pruning too. Not to say that I didn't do it. I think I've been through here once or twice already this year. Same with this area. At least twice since dormant season was over. It just grows like crazy. Well, also, what I'm doing is feeding fairly heavy. You know, I think we discussed this fertilizer idea. Well, most of you don't have a bonsai. You have materials that's going to become a bonsai. So you should not feed it like they recommend for a bonsai. You should feed it like a young plant trying to get bigger. So consider your fertilizing regimen. A lot of times what you really want is high nitrogen. Well, high but safe. And then make it grow as fast as it'll grow. Of course, when you have as many plants as I do, it drives you crazy, but that's how you get bigger plants faster. As we get to this section, you see this empty space? Well, that's good news. I sold off a few. This section looks okay in terms of plant materials, but we sold off 3 of them from this section the other day. A lady came in, picked out 4, 3 from this area. So now she has all these pines in her collection. So there's 3 less pines from this section. I just moved things around so it looks sort of full. But yeah, I'm having less material to work with, which is a good thing because I'm trying to liquidate as much as I can. So in my 5-year plan, I should be out of all the plant inventory. Here's one that's missing right there. It was an olive. You know, this last month was actually pretty good. I sold off quite a few things. Some were on the pricey side, which is good for me. This bench, well, this bench I pruned everything and I had everything cleaned up less than a month ago. Well, it's back again. Oh, here's our Zelkovas. It just wants to grow and grow and grow. Yesterday we had heat, not record heat, just hot in the hundreds, and wind. Oh, it was kind of a scary wind, warm and windy. We got all this potential for fires. So what I did was I put all the available sprinklers I had around the house just in case. This section is full of Chinese elm, and I did take an electric clipper to this area a couple weeks ago, but it's really in need of careful pruning. Oh, look out here. These are my Chinese elm section. It really looks like it needs pruning. It's not that it's been neglected that long. I think about a month and a half ago, I trimmed all these. Oh, look at all these things. Look like I don't do any work around here. Well, I do. Look how bad this one is. Oh my gosh, it just shot all over the place. And it's in a very shallow container, yet it's still happy as a lark, so it just keeps growing like crazy. So I'll load up my cart and I'll show you at least some of it. So let's do our cart full of elms again. This pair of liquid amber, remember they were one tree and then I split it? Well, I've already pruned these 3 times since it came out of dormancy, and it's in definite need of pruning some more. Yeah, look at this thing. It's only been 2 weeks and well, it's been 2 weeks since I used my electric clipper on it, and it still came back. Okay, what we're looking here is the Portacarpus. Remember my trip to San Diego? I saw this full-size one. These get to be a huge tree if the weather is just right. I guess, I don't know if it'll grow that big here, but definitely in San Diego it grew like 40 feet, maybe 50 feet up in the air. Okay, what we have here is a red bud. There was a question that somebody asked about how to style them. Well, I'm not exactly sure, but this is one way. I put it in the bowl, and I'm just going to make it into a slanting canopy style. I think what we're trying to do is to enjoy the flower, and so trying to style in the normal bonsai way may or may not work. Well, when you're working with something new, it's always a challenge trying to figure out what's the best thing. Okay, now we go off to the side here. Remember our trident and others, all the juniper in the back. And this is a mulberry that the weeds are growing bigger than the plant. What can I say? Okay, this is my hospital nursery area. Nursery, I have these little ones that I took out of the cutting beds and in individual plants, fairly well protected area. Hospital, because when something get all stressed out like this one here, well, this is a dwarf boxwood. The water wasn't on it for a while, so it may or may not make it, so it's in this hospital area. And then, you know, some of our project, I think this one is cut off of the arching style, and it's starting to develop some growth on it, so I'll start the styling process fairly soon. And a lot of these are projects that you have seen before. Okay, this is how I have been growing my materials, cuttings. And more of the growth. Okay, you see empty bench spaces. I need to move some more plants so it looks nice and full. But yeah, things been pretty good in terms of sales. This is a relatively new section. Remember that black siding? Well, I use it for the roof, and I've got some things that used to be in a well-protected area need a little more space. Unfortunately, some of my irrigation was not perfected, looks like, and there's a few plants that have stressed out, hopefully not dead. Oh, the big Milwaukee boxwoods here, I think doing much better. Definitely not falling down like we used to where we had it. But I have to be careful. We have a wisteria, and it's looked like it's creeping over the fence there, and it's going to wrap around my boxwoods. As I pan across here, there's the Milwaukee Pine, Ponderosa Pine, and Untitled Pine. And you see at the end, there's an empty spot. I don't know if you remember, that was my feminine juniper with a big gen on it. Well, somebody wanted it, so it's gone. Yeah, this is where the feminine juniper is gone. But now it gives enough sunlight for my pomegranate. Look how healthy this thing looks. It needs pruning. Okay, here's some more. There's a few of these might be going in the near future, hopefully. People show interest. Sometimes it takes a while for them to decide to actually purchase it. Well, mainly because of the price. It's not very cheap, that's for sure. But hey, these are like 40 years old, so I don't think it's out of line for the amount of work that I put into it. It's just kind of on the pricey side. But then a lot of the stuff that you see here, you'll never find anywhere else for sale. It would be in somebody's private collection. We're in the Milwaukee Pine area. Most of it looking pretty good. I think it's nice and lush, deep green. You see an open spot. Well, there was one that was sold, and the guy said he's gonna come back for a couple more. I'm making progress. 5 more years till hopefully I'm all out of stock, or at least on the plant. And what am I gonna do after that? Well, I'll be doing something or another, because I'm not the retiring type. I just want to get rid of all this nursery stuff because it keeps me trapped here. I want to be able to get away for a week or 2 weeks at a time without worrying about my plant inventory dying or something bad happening. That's why I'm trying to get out in 5. So those in this year was the winters were dry, and I never suspected that this would need water, because in the past I've never watered it through the winter months because it rained regularly. Well, it was so dry so long that it actually killed part of it. And that's one of the things I want to show you and to tell you how this will become a gin style, right? The bottom part's live, top part's dead, the foliage will fall off, and then that's one of the source of a gin style. Because remember, in bonsai, all we're trying to do is to capture the essence of nature, even this bad thing that happened. Okay, so that was our summer nursery tour. Let's leave on a happy note. Sunflowers. I mean, who don't like sunflowers? Well, last year what happened was I planted nothing but this really tall one. This year I got 3 other type of seeds. So now I'm having a little bit more interesting presentation. But anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. So this has been the nursery tour in the first day of summer. Well, the last time I was here during the tour, it bothered me so much that I proceeded to prune this section almost right after I did the videos. Unfortunately, the rest of the nursery needs trimming, and by the time I get done, I had to start all over again.